You've already watched this in 3D animation, but nothing quite like this before. Join me and countless others as we watch the epic series of Soul Family 6, the Chosen series, in full length in 4K for all four series. Watch Ariel discover her gifts and talents and how she uncovers her purpose with the support of her guardian Jophiel, her instructors Saint Michael and Saint Haniel, along with her 6 classmates, Lucifer, Lilith, Gabriel, Angela, Germaine, and Chloe. Watch them all go through challenges together and overcome them together, and why they were really created. These souls were created differently from many other souls in the land. Some from the Sacred Land of Harts were born, but these 7 souls were created. Take a sneak peek of what's to come.
It's the first day of Sacred Preschool.
My name is Ariel, and I am a new soul created in the Land of Sacred Heart. I'm new to the land, and curious about what it means to be here, and what it all has to offer. My guardian is Jophiel.
She will help me understand what my duties are as a new soul, and give me the guidance and help I need to understand my assignments. I am 4 years old, and of course I am at the age where I will have to go to preschool to prepare me for grade school. I am so excited because I feel like I can meet more souls my age to connect and learn from them. There was a total of 6 souls my age in my preschool class. The first 2 souls I met was Lucifer and his sister Lilith. They appeared to be very smart and had a knowing of things that seem all so new to me. They were an interesting pair that I wanted to know more about. The second 2 souls I met from my class was Gabriel and Angela. They were very quiet souls, but very friendly. I wanted to get to know them too, yet they were so very different from the last 2 I met. The third set of souls I met were Germaine and Chloe. It's safe to say I liked all my classmates, but the one that stood out the most to me was Germaine. I couldn't stop smiling when we talked, but I enjoyed talking to him and was always excited to see him, and I believe the same could be said for him. Saint Michael was our preschool instructor, and he tested us daily on different things our soul desired, and how we would apply that later to assignments in the land once old enough to perform them. Germaine and I both replied,
We are old enough now to perform. We have desires.
We are old enough now to perform. We have desires.
We then laughed because we shared the same sentiment and replied at the same time. Saint Michael laughed as well and replied,
You two are most definitely spirits kids. You have the heart of one.
As we were leaving class, there was a loud blast out in the schoolyard. Saint Michael escorted us to the safety shelter for souls our age, but Germaine and I hid behind Saint Michael's coat to see what was happening because he ran out to check. There were dark forces that I had never laid eyes on that was destroying the schoolyard. Saint Michael discovered us, and he first fussed at us for following him out. And he then gave us protective gear to protect ourselves against all dark forces. We stood up to them and fought with the rest of the angels. We weren't quite angels yet, we had to earn our wings, but we were on our way from that day forward. Saint Michael was really impressed with our bravery and called us the gifted ones.
You are the gifted ones, but from now on, follow instructions. Don't ever be disobedient again.
And our reply was,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We made it through preschool, and now we are on to grade school. Grade school was fun, but a little more serious in how we develop our skills. Our instructor was Saint Haniel. She taught us all our sensory skills and how to detect what was safe and unsafe in our environment by using all of our senses, and we also learned creativity that was outsourced through Fairyland. Our first lesson was in creativity, and we left off site to learn this in Fairyland. It was a big land, but everyone there was small, and it was beautiful for souls our age. Of course, I have my same classmates from preschool, so it felt like an experience I got to learn and enjoy with family. Our instructor off-site was Mr. Tinker. He made us create things in our mind and bring them to life, and also with our hands. I had the most difficult time with this, while all my other classmates excelled at this. I was starting to get discouraged because I knew that the biggest goal of achievement in the Sacred Land of Harts was to earn your wings, and the higher up you ranked, the bigger your wings, and the most power of authority you had. At this rate, I would only be a citizen there if I'm unable to accomplish this. Germaine saw how I struggled in class, so he worked with me after class to help me tap into my creativity. I was improving, so hope was restored. Something mysterious happened in Fairyland. One of the days Germaine and I decided to work after class. An unknown dark force appeared, which has never happened before in Fairyland, an attack on the village. Everyone was terrified and was in shock that anything was happening because nothing of this level has ever reached this faraway land. Something dark was among us, but it had to be our own because this world only allows purity in it. Germaine and I got creative in order to protect this land from any more destruction and chaos. We develop a skill that unites our thoughts and action into one to build something bigger. We had been practicing it, but never used it, never realizing we ever would, but nevertheless, glad we did. We casted a spell returning the dark force for which it came, and built a field over the whole land to protect it from anything coming in or going out. Because of our bravery and teamwork and me mastering creativity, we were named honorary members of Fairyland, which I absolutely loved and took great pride in. I was a young soul and mastered something that seemed to be an obstacle for me, and testing my abilities became something I was honored for. It couldn't get much better than that, and it restored my hope to get my wings. Although I mastered the skill of creativity in Fairyland, in the Sacred Land of Harts, I needed to master perception and intuition. Mastering these skills came a bit easier for me after using my skills of creativity, and I'm glad we took those classes first. It meant everything to me to exceed my goals and finish grade school on top, because the top 3 students, upon being promoted, would receive their very own unicorn that were mystical, creatures from Fairyland they sent to help in our magical abilities before reaching middle school. It helps enhance our skills with animals and creatures and increases our intuition. I wanted that so bad and worked extremely hard to get it. We were approaching the end of the school year, and I was excited to find out if I was one of the top 3 students to receive a unicorn for my hard work and efforts and be at the top of my class. A day my classmates and I decided to walk to school together. We discussed who would receive a unicorn and who the top 3 may be. Upon completion, and I noticed a flower that was withering, which never happens in the Sacred Land of Harts. Something wasn't right. I could feel it, so we all investigated it. I carry magic dust with me since I am an honorary member of Fairyland, and I sprinkled it in the air and spoke.
It revealed to me the unseen that I cannot see. That happened before we arrived.
I saw a dark force sprinkle something that is harmful to plants and living things, use something from a bottle they kept on them to destroy all that is good. I casted a spell to remove the poison and bring life to that was withered. We finally got to school, and all my classmates share with St. Haniel that she would have been proud to see us use the perceptions we learned in class from her just on our way to school.
You would have been really proud to know how well we have been listening in class because we used what you taught us in class just on the way to school this morning.
Yeah! We were paying attention to our surroundings.
We noticed a flower that was dying, which never should happen in our land.
We worked really good together in noticing things that should not be. It was amazing to watch, and finding a solution was even better. Not only did we notice the flower dying, but we saw who did it with Ariel's dust magic.
I see you all have had an eventful morning.
I'm actually more concerned about what I saw in my vision. Why would anyone want to poison our land, and why does darkness come to a land that's never seen it?
I understand your concern, Ariel. But remember, our land is sacred, and anything that happens here is always for a reason.
She was excited to hear how well they worked together, so she decided to do something she never did for a class before. Because we worked together, and she knew we understood everything that was taught in her class, she decides to do something extra special for our class.
I'm awarding you all a unicorn. I've never done that for a class before. but you all work very flawlessly together and are very gifted.
Thank you, Saint Haniel. I'm so excited.
Somehow, I felt Saint Haniel was responsible for what we saw in my vision on our way to school, and that some other light being close to our land was responsible for what happened in Fairyland, but I could not prove it. It just seemed as if my classmates and I am tested every time we close to finishing up and completing our courses. It may all be a test from Spirit, but we may or may not ever know.
Look for the entire series, an epic full-length series 1 through 4, July of 2026. Stay tuned for more updates and for the upcoming feature, Soul Family 6, The Chosen Series, Series 2, The Land of Taroc.
The Land of Taroc.
Long, long ago, in a faraway land, was a land known to no one, no life force, no anything, until 4 people on a quest for knowledge and wisdom of who they are, and what their life meant, decided to make that land their home. Their names were Germaine and Ashley Star, and Gary and Kayla Hermit, that recently married with carrying only everything they own on their backs.
This place will be perfect to make our home. The land is huge enough to build on and very beautiful as well.
I agree. It's absolutely breathtaking. What do you think, Ashley?
This is our home. Welcome home, everyone.
Majority rules and we are all in agreement. Let's set up shop.
They were from a very sacred land, Land of Sacred Heart, and wanted to know what it was like to live a life outside of that land. So, they built a small town in that unknown land, starting a family and building from the ground up, with what little they had for resources. The land was quite big, and because it was so few of them, they only utilized a small portion of that space, dreaming of the day they could grow their home into a place everyone wanted to live. The families of 2 grew to a family of 7, with the 2 having 5 boys, Aries, Taurus, Leo, Uranus, and Pluto being the sons of Germaine and Ashley Star. They all had different responsibilities, with Aries being the most responsible one since he was the oldest. The parents, Germaine and Ashley, were very curious people and discovered that during their quest for knowledge that they were from a specific soul family. They are from Soul Family 6. Very caring and nurturing people, along with Gary and Kayla Hermit, that are also from Soul Family 6 and loved their home and family deeply. They all were very generous with other lands. Even with the limited resources they had, they learned of their soul path right before discovering and naming their land. The Land of Taroc, from their teacher Archangel Michael, who was a spiritual being, teacher, and now their new guardian, that approached them right before naming the land to remind them of who they are and what they were chosen to do and why. He reminded them of what happened right before leaving the Sacred Land of Harts, with them taking on human form, and how they may forget pieces of who they are the longer they are human, and that they were to start a family, which they already have because of their nurturing spirit and caring souls, and also to build a home of their own in a land of rich soul, because that land would become a great nation one day. Germaine and Ashley gave up their names, and so did Gary and Kayla, to raise their family of boys and girls. Aries, the oldest son, had a heart full of passion, was fearless, and a natural-born leader. Taurus loved finer things and beauty, but was very practical and dependable when you needed him to be. Leo was fierce and confident like his brother Aries, but loved living his life to the fullest, instead just living and being in charge at home. Uranus was the thinker and innovator of the family, always thinking of a more simpler way to do things for the benefit of self and others. And Pluto was the mysterious child, and the youngest. He's very compassionate and empathetic towards others despite the mystery. In another city, in the Land of Taroc, was Gary and Kayla Hermit, and they had 5 girls, the same age as Aries, Taurus, Leo, Uranus, and Pluto. Their names were Sagi, April, August, Venus, and June. Their parents, Gary and Kayla Hermit, were very quiet and also good friends from the Sacred Land of Harts that also married the same day as Germaine and Ashley on their quest. They often visited in each family's town to help their children grow and evolve from one another. The parents of each family learned from each other as well, and the families became closer. Since there were more families migrating from the Sacred Land of Harts from Soul Family 6, they all migrated to the Land of Taroc to be with their soul group. There were also other lands among them that had other soul families migrate, but they lived different from Soul Family 6, but sacred just the same. One night, while everyone was asleep, Ashley received a message to prepare her family for great destruction to come across the land in waves from an angelic being.
It will happen in waves across the land in series over time. Prepare your family and the town for it as much as possible and as soon as possible.
In time, Aries and Sagi were courting, and he asked for her hand in marriage, and she happily replied yes. Ashley held off on telling her boys right away what happened because of Aries' great news to wed. There was this dream.
About what?
Because there were so many people in the land now, a certain order and laws had to be put in place, especially with the news Ashley received from the angelic being. After the wedding ceremony for Aries and Sagi, another ceremony took place crowning them the Emperor and Empress of the land, the authority figures who would be in control of people out of order and lay down the law in the Land of Taroc. Germaine passed his crown to their oldest son, Aries. Ashley passed her crown to Sagi, Aries' new wife. Later that year, Taurus asked April to marry him. She happily said yes. They had been courting as long as Aries and Sagi and loved one another very much, so within the week, they too were married and crowned to their own town in the Land of Taroc, called the Land of Coins, where they created the life they wanted, but still preparing for a destruction that wasn't visible to the naked eye, and one they still weren't told about.
The Town of Coins.
Welcome to the Land of Taroc and the specific town known as the Town of Coins. The Town of Coins was filled with items created by citizens that were considered luxury items. Taurus and his new wife, April Star, were responsible for what comes in and out of that town and what could be sold there. Anyone that was anyone wanted to live in the Land of Coins. Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine, along with Lady Kayla and Lord Gary, and Aries with his wife, Sagi, lived in this prestigious living establishment. Uranus was responsible for how everything was built concerning all construction in every town. Many lived in his town as well because he had such a brilliant mind. We will need to tell the kids soon of our powers.
Of course. We will do this as soon as we get permission to.
Their childhood teacher and guardian, to ensure everyone's safety, including the Emperor and Empress, Sagi and Aries. Lady Ashley cloaked all the wardrobes of her family in their crowns to protect them from dark entities without them even knowing it. Although the Emperor and Empress have gifts, their gifts are much stronger with the cloak of Lady Ashley. She especially wanted to keep an eye on her son Taurus, because he oftentimes got distracted by money and greed, and dark entities look for a way in through something you obsess about. Be careful, my son, with your obsession with material things and money. I don't want you to be a vulnerable source for dark entities. They feed on greed.
Ma, you don't have to worry about me. I don't have an obsession. I just make sure we have everything we need.
All right, my son. Lady Ashley decided to cloak the entire land and area with her magic to be on the safe side. She was known as the magician in the Land of Taroc. Lord Germaine was ordered to go undercover to other towns and cities to investigate their behaviors to see if dark entities had come into those cities as an unknown citizen or taken over the bodies of citizens. Lady Ashley made him appear as a citizen, and Lord Germaine took the sword made by his son Uranus to detect darkness in the land by any man, animal, or thing. Because Lady Ashley could see and have visions through any mirror or reflection, she was able to track Lord Germaine, Plus, she could be in many places at once with her teleportation. She often used owls to keep watch and report to her a threat or danger in the land. One particular night, in the town of Coins, an unknown figure or dark entity appeared in Lady Ashley's vision, and before it could find a source or body to hide in, be gone. She never told her family she received a message directly from an angelic being, other than to Lord Germaine, that there would actually be a destruction from dark entities. She only shared to always be prepared for anything. And stay alert, my son.
The Town of Fire.
The Town of Fire was governed by Leo and his new wife August. They wedded weeks before accepting their roles in town. They were crowned from their parents just like their other siblings that were married and crowned. They became kings and queens of this land. The town was created beautifully, and there were so many warm-hearted people that lived there, and so welcoming. Leo and August made sure that every town and city had supplies to cook and stay warm with by keeping wood stocked all over towns, and they used all the nights in the town to get it done quickly. Lady Ashley was having visions about what happened prior to incarnating, about the great war that happened in the land of Sacred Heart and who was responsible for it, and intuitively, she felt Lucifer and his sister Lilith could be responsible for the dark entities appearing randomly, but could not prove it yet. Waiting on an update from Lord Germaine on his findings, but in the meantime, she worked with all the pages in every town and city to prepare them from the unknown, and put a plan together with all the leaders to cover the homes they all built together. The Town of Fire was also known for their passions and desires. Most of the citizens that lived in town were very driven and optimistic about making their home lives better and those around them. In a way, Lady Ashley connected more in the Town of Fire because her passion is what led her to the path she was currently on.
The Town of Cups.
The Town of Cups was probably the most creative land to live in, and the place where a lot of things were created and made and centered around water. Pluto and his wife, June, newly married, managed all the ins and outs of this town. They married weeks before they were crowned for their duties in town. They worked perfectly together in managing day-to-day activities, but they lacked the skills of the Emperor, Aries, and Empress Sagi when it comes to detecting dark entities in the environment. Sagi was very intuitive when it came to people's emotions. Lady Ashley knew all too well what the capabilities were of dark forces and how far they would go to tap into the energies of the weak at their most vulnerable state, especially through a town full of water that many drank from. Empress Sag ordered the pages that were old enough to be out at night to take turns watching all the main sources and outlets of water in not only the Town of Cups, but in all the Land of Taroc. She had her suspicions, and so did Aries. There were more petty disagreements and arguments in the Town of Cups to make everyone suspicious. Too many to count when it's very peaceful in other towns. Lord Germaine astro projected a message to Lady Ashley that there trouble in other lands, but that he could not go into details where he was, and that a messenger owl was on its way with what was found. Aries and Sagi are now coming up with a plan to protect the townsmen from themselves, especially in the Town of Cups. The Emperor, Aries, and Empress, Sag, decided to have Uranus and his wife develop a tool that could detect poison in all the towns before any water could be used in any way to protect everyone there. They temporarily built a small area for each family on the outside of the Land of Taroc in tents, and borrowed bare necessities from other towns until everything had been tested and cleared for living. It took a few days, but everything was tested and cleared for living.
The Town of Swords.
The Town of Swords was very beautiful and uniquely made. There was a leadership meeting being held in the Town of Swords. This is the town where all the structural plans and all the weapons are created by Uranus and his wife, Venus. They had been married a while but recently stepped in the leadership role together in the Town of Swords. Aries and Sag called a meeting alerting everyone that they would need all hands on deck or younger pages to volunteer for training in the field with Aries and Lady Ashley, in case there would be an invasion in towns. They wanted to be prepared as much as possible for the unknown, due to the unsettling message that Lady Ashley received from Lord Germaine. Lady Ashley took other measures to get information quicker by sending all her owl connections into each town that Lord Germaine had not been yet, and sent a message to him to come home so he could help prepare an army. Somehow Lady Ashley and Sag both knew that something was coming. Emperor Aries and Empress Sag gathered up all the queens, Queen April and Queen August, Queen Venus and Queen June, with Lady Kayla and Lord Gary, who were very good at healing work. Lady Ashley did a head count in every town and asked Uranus to create a weapon that detected dark forces to sell to every family that wanted it to protect their homes and families. A really big decision needed to be made from the Emperor and Empress at this point, and that was if they wanted to ask for help from allied soul families to take down dark forces together, or to try this individually as a town and land. It was risky asking for help because the talk of the town was that dark forces had already reached other lands, and if we asked for help, would that dark force be among them, and would we be calling in the dark forces? Lady Ashley thought they should wait to make that decision after Lord Germaine returns, but it was the Emperor and Empress's decision.
Competition of the lands.
The other lands were becoming very competitive with the Land of Taroc without their knowledge. Lord Germaine arrived back in the Land of Taroc, along with the messenger owls with intel from other lands, but before he had returned all the way home,
There's something strange going on.
the Emperor and Empress had already decided to come together with the other soul families to meet about the darkness that caused subtle changes in each town's environment. What Lord Germaine said and the messenger owls had to say were devastating to say the least. Each soul family were plotting to destroy the other soul families working with them up close, learning the ins and outs of each land to overthrow them to prove that their soul family was the best, and stroke their ego boasting about it. Soul Family 6 was not about to let that happen. Aries and Sag traveled by chariot to meet in the middle in another land. And of course, Lady Ashley was going to make her presence known by sending a messenger owl to watch, and she see through the eyes of the owl while Lord Germaine traveled with them.
Hey, I see you there. Wait up.
Someone had to stay in the Land of Taroc to protect the land from invaders, and no one could really do that better than Lady Ashley. She had eyes everywhere. Once everyone arrived in the middle, they rested a day and met the next morning to talk about a strategy to protect each land from dark forces. Aries and Sag seemed to be the most concerned about the darkness that was plaguing their land, but most other families were there to see how they could work together with each soul family to gain financial wealth from each land. Aries replied,
Each land is doing very well financially, so why would we need to combine everything now when the biggest issues are the fighting and the arguments that have increased over all the lands that seem to be unsettling?
In their eyes, that was nothing. Greed was starting to consume them, and at this point, the meeting was over for Aries and Sag. They were on their own in how they could protect their land from chaos, but our neighboring lands were starting to have great influence over Soul Family 6.
Taroc battle.
Lady Ashley made it a point to find the source of the problem in the Land of Taroc. The arguments and fighting began to grow stronger and stronger in all the lands, causing action to be made right away. These dark forces weren't coming from out of the blue, and she felt that intuitively. Before making the Land of Taroc their home, Lady Ashley thought back to the time when they were about to move there very vaguely. She remembered Archangel Michael saying,
Because the vibration of this land is so dense, you may not remember who you are and all of your abilities, not even your real name, and that you may even have to call on spirit to get the answers.
You will feel like your old life was just a dream at times, and you may even remember them in other moments, but you may not quite remember how to use your gifts. You will still have your gifts and can use them, but you will have to have an inner knowing inside of you on how to use them. Lady Ashley was ready to try anything at this point to protect her land. She asked Spirit, Can you reveal to me the unseen that was seen in a previous time and space to protect my land, our land? Spirit began to show her. Spirit heard her loud and clear and showed her only what she should see right now. She saw that she was a natural-born warrior that moves with great determination, and now she was ready to put a plan together with Lord Germaine, Emperor Aries, King Taurus, King Leo, King Uranus, and King Pluto for this battle. Lady Ashley asked Lady Kayla to work with all the queens, Queen April, Queen Venus, Queen August, and Queen June on preparing the girl pages for battle. Along with Empress Sag. Sag and her sisters get started right away with preparation, as their mother asked. The female pages are eagerly preparing. Lord Germaine and Lord Gary prepare the male pages, and Lady Ashley works with the knights for battle. The town didn't have much time to prepare but did what they could. Lady Ashley is the magician, so she cast a spell to remove all the citizens in the Land of Taroc immediately to the safe shelter built in the unseen under her spell when the battle began. She felt it intuitively that it was going to happen based on what Spirit shared. The dark forces were destroying all the other lands around the Land of Taroc, but paled in comparison from what the messenger owl found from other soul families. It was time to put all our plans in action. But there was one thing Lady Ashley knew she had to do, that she had the ability to do: call in reinforcements.
Reinforcements.
Lady Ashley knew that if she could call on anyone, she could call on Archangel Michael for help and support during this dark time for answers. He appeared to her in the mirror of truth, and she cried to him, "We need your help. All the lands have become corroded with dark forces beyond our control, including my very own land. My family and I have put together a plan to try to avoid a battle, but also prepared for one in case a peaceful resolution could not be had. Please step in if you can help us overcome this peacefully and amicably."
I'll do what I can, or what Spirit will allow me to do. I'll be there with you for sure, in spirit, because you are from my army, but you have this. I have seen you fight, and you were the last soul standing, not only for what was right, but because of your strength.
After having this talk with Archangel Michael, she moved with great determination, and she knew that she could face anything, and she had a whole family behind her. There was a rumor that different group of soul families were traveling their way to the Land of Taroc to wreak havoc, and the messenger owls confirmed it. It was time to put our plan in action. Didn't appear from the way they were charging towards us that this would be peaceful. But we are not going down without a fight.
Soul Family War.
Other soul families had reached our land, but they didn't get very far. There were traps all over town that Uranus built with his brother Aries, with a few traps being seen and unseen to the human eye. For some, it ended before it started, especially in the Town of Swords. Emperor Aries is fighting for the Land of Taroc as the protector and leader of this land. He suffers major injuries from this battle to the chest and arms from other soul families, but he continues to fight.
I will fight for this land and do whatever it takes to defeat you all in this battle.
Along with his brothers, the kings, King Taurus, Leo, Uranus, and Pluto. Lady Ashley safely transported all the elderly citizens and small children with her spell, placing them somewhere safe during this battle. At every turn, the other soul families tried at invading the land, and their attempts were blocked. A real fight took several hours to begin after they arrived because there were so many illusions casted by Soul Family 6 to protect not only the people in the land, but the land itself. The other soul families were tiring, which was the plan anyway, to have them tire out. They were surprised by our attacks and what we were able to do and underestimated our strategies. They were beginning to doubt their own abilities because they wanted to be the best and even began fighting each other. The fight was getting out of hand, and Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine asked, "Can a resolution be made to end this petty fight?"
Why did the fight start in the first place?
Aries and Sag brought up the force of darkness that they spoke of at the last meeting they all seemed to care less about, reminding them,
The true cause of this fight was due to dark forces invading our lands. I would like for us to join forces instead of fighting against you all to keep darkness from our lands collectively.
"We are stronger together. They all agreed, and all decided to help with efforts of restoring each other's land with balance and harmony once again. The battle was over, but the real one has yet to begin.
Taroc reset.
The time had come to take a break and rest up a bit. After all the cleanup efforts for each land that took a while to rebuild, we can finally rest and enjoy our homes again without feeling like something could happen at any moment. Even though things could happen in any moment, for a moment we wanted to rest our minds and bodies from so much turmoil in the last weeks and months. Lord Germaine ordered more rest for Aries because he sustained the most injuries from the battle.
Son, I know you want to make sure that all the town's affairs are in order, but take a little more time to relax a bit. You went through a lot out there, and your body needs rest.
Dad, I am fine, but I am taking a break. Saggy is looking into handling more of the affairs in town until I have fully recovered.
Taurus, Uranus.
Man, I don't know if I can feel my feet. Tell me, Uranus, are my feet moving?
Haha, my brother. We have not left our seats.
Pluto. And Leo suffered injuries as well, but small in comparison to Aries. Most of the cleanup efforts came from the citizens in town, and all people that fought on the front lines were ordered by Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley to rest properly and not overload themselves with work right away because they may need their strength sooner than they know. The Star family and Hermit family decided to go and rest where they previously rested during the testing of all the towns, to be sure no one lifted a finger and got proper rest without worrying. Sag was really concerned about Aries' health, and she asked her mom, Lady Kayla, to heal him.
Of course, honey, but he will actually need to rest as well during the healing process.
I know, Mom, and trust me, I've insisted he not worry so much about his duties. I'm well equipped to take on more responsibilities.
Sag also asked Lady Ashley to help Aries in his healing so he would be of full strength again. You don't even have to ask. I'm already on it. They did the healing work, but they also had an alternate plan for their family, and it was for their protection.
Your mother and I have been discussing other options for the family, along with Lord Gary and Lady Kayla, and we want to discuss your safety and share our past life experiences with you also.
The Star family and Hermit family was asked to stay a little longer in the temporary living area due to a new plan put in place.
I will alert you when you are completely free from danger.
The messenger owl that would come would be one they have seen before, but it would be able to speak fully for people to understand it, and if one was to come and it didn't speak, it would be an imposter. Sag, Aries, Taurus, Uranus, Pluto, Leo. April, August, Venus, and June all agreed to stay behind. Deep down they all knew that the fight that would be fought next would be one they may not be able to survive. There was finally peace to all the lands. The Soul families as a group decided that they no longer wanted to live in such a divided land by soul families. The deal was, if anyone wanted to live in any land, they could, and we happily agreed that if soul families wanted to move and live outside of their soul families, they could, if they so desired. It was time for us to grow and evolve, and also learn from each other different skill sets to become better as humans. There was peace to the lands a long while before darkness began to sneak back in. Aries and the kings finally returned to their duties in the Land of Taroc, ready to fulfill their duties in the roles they were given in the towns they lived. The Star and Hermit family returned to the Land of Taroc in full strength. When they all returned, the peace was felt, but deep down no one was comfortable knowing that darkness was still among them. Everyone could feel it, even the animals and small pages. The Emperor and Empress decided that everyone could use some fun, so they decided to plan a huge gathering and included all the other nations if they wanted to participate in some fun, food, and games in town to lighten the mood and give everyone hope again that their homes were safe to live in. All the other soul families agreed that this would be good for morale, and they planned a full week of fun all day for 5 days, and everyone enjoyed themselves and agreed it was much needed and hoped to do it again real soon.
It feels good to just be able to relax and have fun for a change.
I'm with you, brother. Working is fine when can sometimes unwind like this.
They all came to each other's towns and enjoyed each activity of games and fun the way they do it in their town. Coming together helped them to learn a lot about their neighbors. The love was shown.
Dark forces.
Lord Germaine, Lord Gary, Lady Ashley and Lady Kayla spoke with their children Aries, Sag, and the kings and queens about who they really were.
I know you all already know that we are all gifted with magical powers, but we are not human like you all are.
We are angels and immortal. We have the same gifts you all have, but with more intensity, and we don't age.
I don't always remember every piece of my past life like the others, but I remember some of it. I'm reminded of my gifts every day. We had you train hard because a message I received from a spiritual being right before you were all crowned. I was told that great destruction would invade our land in pieces, and at the time, I didn't understand why.
We aren't allowed as immortal beings to fight humans, and if we do, we will need to use restraint, and it would only be for protection of ourselves and this land. This next battle will likely be from immortal beings and also our former classmates. We were all grouped together since we first started school from our sacred land.
Why are we just hearing about this? And why was this such a secret?
We needed to be sure that what we suspected was true, and we are only allowed to share only what is allowed about our past life, but what happens next may affect you. We had to tell you.
Apparently, you all believe we could not assist in a battle like this because you are asking us to stay back.
I have no words. Completely shocked by all of this.
I can't say that I'm shocked, but this is a lot to take in. With all of the training we have, you don't think we could do this with you?
I'm all right with staying behind for now. We don't know what we may be up against.
I agree. We are human, not immortal, and if we get hurt, well, I don't even want to think about it.
But we have gifts too.
Yeah, we do. But I think we should listen to our parents on this one.
I'll do whatever you ask. You always know what's best for us.
I will create whatever weapons you need for this fight.
We just may need your help with that, Uranus. Thank you. We love you all and know you can fight. But this one is different. Very different.
To answer all of you, we have fought this fight before, and it was a difficult one, and I barely survived it. And I want to protect you all by have you stay back for now. Lady Ashley, Lady Kayla. Lord Germaine and Lord Gary had the same senses when it came to dark forces in their midst. It's likely because they were formal classmates together in Land of Sacred Harts, and they were sensing their former classmates, Lucifer and Lilith, that had fallen from grace. Lady Ashley can only sense things, but the rest of them know because their vibration and status in the Land of Sacred Harts was higher in ranking, but nevertheless, their presence were sensed. Lady Ashley was beginning to remember remnants of her life as Ariel from sensing their presence. Her powers were increasing, not that she wasn't a force already, but her intuition had been heightened. Chloe had come to her in a dream, a former classmate, to help her on this part of her journey. She knew what Ariel was about to encounter. All of them, to be exact, would be more than they've already seen and experienced. She warned Lady Ashley and said,
"You are heavily protected, as well as your family. You are not alone in this upcoming battle."
In that same dream, Priest Most High and Archangel Michael promoted her for her bravery with the next level of wings for her soul. She mastered the hardest part of this journey. Lady Ashley awakened, looked over at Lord Germaine, and smiled. She got up and looked out into the world, and she said, "Lucifer and Lilith, I know you are out there, and when our paths cross, there will be a debt to pay for all the destruction you both caused my family." As she said it, Lilith and Lucifer both heard in awe that her abilities were strong enough to sense them in the dense land they were in, but her vibrations had increased even higher than her former classmates due to what was yet to come. There was an attack in the Land of Coins. In the middle of the night, there was a silent attack, the kind no one saw coming, into the town of Coins. It was a lot of bickering and going back and forth over things the people in town would not usually get upset about. This is why it was considered silent. No one expected a fight to break out, especially after the fight we had with other soul families. Taurus, the king, came out to see what the commotion was about, because it was happening near their home. He would usually send a knight out to patrol the area, but it was late and near his window, and he thought it would be quick. The The minute he walked out, the two fighting outside near his window grabbed him and took him away in a chariot, out of the town to hold him hostage at a great attempt to take over the land. It threw Taurus off. All Taurus could think was,
"Who is this? And why have they captured me? And would anyone know where to look for me?"
April, his wife, noticed he was gone longer than usual and began to look for him. When she discovered he was missing, she contacted the Emperor and the Empress, Aries and Sag, alerting them to go out and search for him. Aries, the Emperor says to April,
"It may be an ambush to reach others in power by going out this late to look for him. We will get together during daylight and put a plan together to find him."
So, you telling me you will wait while he's out there to who knows what? Something can happen to him.
We will do all we can, but Taurus has gifts. He can fight when the time comes.
He does have gifts, but we don't really know what we are up against now, do we?
Sadly, you are right. We don't know what we are up against, and it's all the more reason we should plan strategically.
April angrily agreed.
I want my husband, your brother, found immediately, but be safe doing so. We don't know what we are really up against.
Town of Fire and Cups attack.
The Town of Fire attack. Daylight has finally arrived and Leo decided they should put together a plan in the Town of Fire. The Emperor, Aries, King Leo, King Pluto, and King Uranus all met with the knights in each town to go on a manhunt for King Taurus. They wanted to try to get things done and taken care of without alerting their parents, Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley, but nothing gets past them. While they were holding their secret meeting in town, Lady Ashley already knew about Taurus's abduction and could already sense who was behind him being taken. She had two messenger owls in on their conversation listening to their plan. Lady Ashley had a dream prior to any attacks made about dark forces wanting to destroy what her and her family built. So she and Lord Germaine took protective measures into their own hands.
I knew this would happen. Good thing we took protective measures for our children.
Their family, Aries, Sagi, Taurus, April, Leo, August, Uranus, Venus, Pluto, and June were all moved further out in the Land of Taroc, in a land no man can see with the human eye. Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine created an essence of their family in the Land of Taroc to protect the land and their family, with the help of the Hermit family. Lady Ashley knows wherever Taurus is, he's untraceable. She had Uranus design a device to be able to find any of them anywhere, at any time that she could sense and see. Don't worry, my son. We will find you. Just hold on. She could not sense him, so Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine are heading to the meeting right away to warn their sons to allow them to find him. We must hurry, Germaine. They truly believe that they can handle this themselves.
Wait, hold on. Something is happening up ahead. They are treading into dangerous territories that they won't be able to go up against alone.
But before Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine could reach their sons, dark forces came out of nowhere and attacked the town, causing major damage, taking King Leo with them. Lady Ashley was close enough to them to throw a tracking device on the chariot and on the dark force, and sent a messenger owl to follow them and report back. Whatever you find it quickly and report back. Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley loved their sons, and at any point could have defeated the forces, but they wanted to find King Taurus and King Leo, and allowing King Leo to be taken was the only way they could see getting both their sons back. There was another attack, but this time in the Town of Cups. There was so much damage from the attack in the Town of Fire that a lot of citizens slept in other towns that had available space until their homes were rebuilt, which needed cleanup efforts. Many came to the neighboring town, which was the Town of Cups, that King Pluto and Queen June governed. The citizens were overwhelmed with fear and wanted answers, because those attacks in each town prior were back to back. Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine wanted to keep the citizens safe, so they began building safety shelters for them as well. The citizens had every right to want answers, but for now, providing safety for them was the biggest concern. We can build a safety shelter on the left of the Land of Taroc further down, as far down as possible, to protect the citizens in this land and make them as comfortable as possible.
I agree. Let's get to work.
Lord Germaine and Ashley decided to build a shelter, along with Lord Gary and Lady Kayla, and the help of all the citizens that were able-bodied, in the deepest part of the Land of Taroc, hidden and protected with their magic to protect everyone that were either too old or too young to fight, and those with no training yet in the battlefield, to live there temporarily until a solution could be made to stop the chaos from happening again in the Land of Taroc. Violence was at an all-time high, and King Pluto and King Uranus, along with Aries, decided to prepare for battle. Pluto and Uranus were still mildly injured, but Aries was in no shape to fight a battle as serious as the one they are about to encounter. The towns became really quiet. It seems to be a little too quiet. The knights and pages should have been preparing for a battle at any time, but for some reason, everyone appeared to be resting or appearing as if they could not keep their eyes open. Lord Germaine ordered everyone to not drink, bathe, or touch water or liquid of any kind because it had been tampered with.
I'm ordering everyone not to touch, drink, or bathe with the water in town until it's been tested.
This last attack was a silent one, causing everyone that drank or touched water in the Town of Cups to not perform. Everyone that could not perform was taken to the hidden shelter at once to seek care and healing at once.
Deep slumber and rescue.
The town was now under some sort of spell. Everyone that was affected by the water or liquids in any form slept for days. Whatever dark forces that was among them was coming back to back, where everyone in the Land of Taroc had to seek refuge, provided mainly for them by the lords and ladies of the land. The entire Town of Cups were asleep. Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley had to regroup and find another strategy because King Pluto and Queen June also fell asleep in a deep slumber, and the town still needs to be governed. Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley are waiting to receive a message from the messenger owl before planning their next move. But they still needed to find King Taurus and King Leo. Where do you believe our sons were taken and why?
I don't know where they could have been taken, but I can think of who may have taken them.
It always seems to be an act of dark forces anytime they try to group together a plan, and it always seems to involve their sons. King Uranus and Emperor Aries are the only ones actively present to help, but at this point, this battle is bigger than them, and Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley asked them to stay out of this one and protect the families at the shelter while they find out what's really going on. I think we should have the kings and queens help more with the townspeople and get them rallied and safe while dark forces are invading this land. We will have to fight this fight.
Oh, most definitely. If our children fight this fight and get hurt, I will never forgive myself because they have been warned. But if they are anything like you, they may try anyway.
There were people asleep and wasn't waking anytime soon, and now the leaders of this land needed to know why and how they could help them regain consciousness. Everything was still unexplainable. While things were quiet at the shelter, things were also quiet where Leo and Taurus were. They were together with no clue to why they were being held captive in a place where they were free to walk and roam, but with no way out, no exit or sign of entry. The messenger owl finally reached where they were, but was puzzled to how anyone would get in or out where they were. The messenger owl could sense both of their energies, but had no way to see them or get in where they were. The messenger owl is now heading back to report its findings, and while that is happening, Leo and Taurus try to think like their brother, Uranus, and find their way out.
What do you think Uranus would do to get himself out of this? Using our powers are useless here. There is no start or stopping point.
Knowing Uranus, he would probably create something that we would never think of on our own without him.
Investigations of Lord Germaine. Lord Germaine decided to investigate these attacks in other areas to see if their families and land was being targeted or if this was happening only in the Land of Taroc. He disguised himself as a citizen. Lady Ashley made him appear differently and changed it where he could not be sensed by darkness before he gets where he is going. He was prepared to be gone a while with plenty of fresh fruit and food vitamins for vitality as he traveled. He didn't pack water with him because some parts of it was still unsafe, and they haven't had time to undo what's been done to tarnish it before he left out. So he will get some on the way in another town and test it with what Uranus made to test it, for safety. Uranus built that especially for his dad, for his travels, but built something much bigger for the town, so that they could get back to how they lived before. Everything was moving forward slowly, but with optimism. Lady Ashley kissed Lord Germaine on his way out and said, "I love you, be safe, and I will be able to see everything you see with the tracker you have on you, and I will be able to help you when you need help as you travel." He kissed her back and was on his way. As he was on his way, he ran into the messenger owl. The owl recognized Lady Ashley's magic cloak and stopped Lord Germaine to convey a message of where their sons were, and Lady Ashley translated it to Lord Germaine, and he followed the owl. He moved in quietly, investigated the area, and how to get in and how to get out. Once Lord Germaine was able to sense his sons, he used his violet flame to release them.
Woo, you are a sight for sore eyes.
Dad, I'm so happy to see you. Let's get out of here.
I have our sons. Teleport us back.
Already on it. Once she was able to sense them all, she was able to bring them back safely and quietly to the hidden shelter created for the Land of Taroc.
Who's behind the darkness?
Who's behind the darkness? Lilith? Lucifer? Because Lord Germaine did not spend much time investigating other towns before finding his sons, he decided to go back out and do more investigating to get the truth of what was happening, and to help Land of Taroc thrive again. Lady Ashley lends her support again because this was nothing like what they had truly encountered, and they are unable to see the true enemy, so they combined their powers to trace down the real root of the problem and how it could be resolved. He disguised himself yet again. He discovered that what other soul families were experiencing was mild in comparison to what was happening in the Land of Taroc, but as he looked closer to the behavior of a few of the other soul families, a lot of the citizens appeared to be motionless and unaware of their surroundings. Lord Germaine tested his theory by asking questions to a few of the citizens, and his theory was right. But there was one in Soul Family 5's town that was playing along to fit in until he noticed Lord Germaine, and they both discovered each other. Paul noticed Lord Germaine wasn't behaving like the other citizens, and he pulled him in and explained to him what he suspected was going on. It threw Lord Germaine off slightly, but nevertheless, he was happy to see at least one person that appeared to be in awareness, but he was also suspicious, and so was Lady Ashley. She could feel and sense everything that was happening, and they were also connected telepathically, and any suspicion he had, Lady Ashley's senses was heightened. The illusions begins. Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine's senses are highly sensitive, but when they are linked together, they become even stronger, and they both sense the same thing, and their senses are heightened when they power together. Ashley and Germaine both realized that you had to be of strong force to sense or recognize them in the midst of them being undercover, and they realized the person Germaine was speaking to was either like them or working with dark forces. Lady Ashley was miles away, but could still sense the presence of danger and warned Lord Germaine. "It's likely you are speaking with Lucifer. Proceed with caution." Lord Germaine was already on it and suspected it, so he asked questions to see if he could get answers without Lucifer, disguised as Paul, noticing who he really was. It was clear to Lord Germaine that no ordinary man would be able to master the strength of a high-level being or dark force without being one themselves. Paul gave the story that he had been traveling and just returned home to see that everyone in town appeared distant and unaware of their surroundings, and noticed Lord Germaine seemed to be in the same state of mind as him, which is true, but then Lord Germaine decides to ask indirect questions.
What led to your travel, and how long had it been since you left and returned?
Paul replied,
I left a few days ago to deliver a message for help from other nations, from our king in my town because food supply was getting low, and a lot of people were moving into one another from lands due to food and water shortage.
Lord Germaine then asked again, the same question 2 or 3 more times, before he realized he may have been in some sort of time loop. Lucifer, disguised as Paul, was trying to draw Lord Germaine in a trap, but Lady Ashley recognized the trap and teleported him back to the Land of Taroc and not to the safe house, because she wasn't sure if it was safe yet for him to return where everyone was. It may jeopardize their safety, so he put on his armor of protection, along with Lady Ashley's white spell, and laid low in a magical cell they built for their safety.
Ooh, I'm glad you were able to hear what was happening back there.
Everyone that had fallen into a deep slumber was finally awakening. No one remembers a thing, but they all said it was the best sleep they ever had. They had not been able to rest properly since silent attacks started happening all over the Land of Taroc. Everyone had become paranoid and suspicious of everything and everyone, and for a brief moment, had peace of mind. Emperor Aries and Empress Sagi wanted citizens to remain in a peace of mind.
Everyone, we are giving it all the efforts we have to ensure that this land stays peaceful.
We want everyone to know that we have extra food and safety provided for every family, and try not to worry. Trust peace will be with us.
Lady Ashley and Lady Kayla noticed that not only did everyone awaken where they were, but everywhere else where people seemed to be unaware of their environment had awakened as well. They weren't sure if it was from their efforts, or if there was a spell broken, or if there was something more to come. Either way, they are preparing for the unexpected. Uranus and Venus have been working day and night to build something strong enough to defeat our enemies. With every sword built, Lady Ashley, Lady Kayla, Lord Germaine, and Lord Gary gave power to create weapons of mass destruction to defeat dark forces.
Dang! Is that enough power? Or do you think we could use more?
Only those of godlike powers could detect or go up against something they can't see, touch, or sense in energy. This job was for the lords and ladies of this great land.
Ariel's ascension.
There was an attack on the Town of Swords, but this attack was intentional. Everything was destroyed, including all the weapons that were created for this war. This is when Lady Ashley realized that this was personal, and their every move was being watched. Once she realized they were being watched, she began building a trap to cause an illusion to her enemies about what was really happening, to buy some time and throw the enemy off their trail. She sent every messenger owl in the sky to every town nearby to round up all the resources they had to build a weapon or weapons to defeat their enemy. Lady Ashley realized that the dark forces either was caught in the illusion, or they knew she would be able to hear them, even if it was an illusion. Lilith whispered in her ear that she would find them and destroy her and her whole family once they discover where they really are. Lady Ashley and Lady Kayla united their powers, along with Lord Gary, to teleport everyone there safely without being tracked, so that they could buy time to defeat Lucifer and Lilith. Their powers and gifts were as strong as their own, so they needed to call in higher forces and move all the citizens as far away from Land of Taroc as possible. Everyone from other towns brought in everything they had to spare to help aid in this war. This battle would be even bigger than the one they once had and were able to end peacefully. Unity of all great soul nations. This is the time when everyone came together more than before to do what is right for the greater good. Almost every sword Uranus and Venus made for other towns and lands were donated back to them for this immortal battle. It gave everyone great joy to see all the Soul family come together again and join forces even under these circumstances. It made everyone that could not truly be on the front lines come together and play a role in some way, even if it was in a small way. While everyone was working together, Lady Ashley received a message from Spirit in her wakened state. Usually her messages come in her sleep, but this message was important. Spirit replied,
"You've done well, my child, and you have gone above and beyond what I expected, and now you shall receive your rewards. I will restore your memory of who you once were before becoming human, and promote you to an Archangel, Ariel. You deserve it, and I will also give you access to Star."
"Thank you, Spirit." Lady Ashley cried when she remembered everything about her life before becoming human, but it was tears of joy because she finally got her wings. And it took becoming human to achieve it, which was even harder to accomplish. She happily accepted. Spirit also said,
I have another surprise for you, but you will see that on the battlefield soon enough, and that I love you, my child.
Archangel Michael joins in on this fight. Lady Ashley returns back to everyone and she asks, Aries, Sag, Taurus, April, Leo, August, June, Pluto, Uranus and Venus to lead everyone to the safe house area on the outside of the Land of Taroc, where they will all be safe during this battle. All the weapons have been made, and now they need to go somewhere safe because Lord Germaine, Lady Ashley, along with Lord Gary and Lady Kayla, have been targeted by Lucifer and Lilith, their former classmates, that helped in destroying the piece of their original homeland or was a part of that destruction. They all know what kind of damage that could be caused by their former classmates, and they all want their children and townspeople safe. The kings and queens all agreed to lead everyone out, and as they were leading everyone to safety, Archangel Michael appears and says,
It's time. Ariel, do you all remember the formations?
Emperor Aries looked back and witnessed something he had never seen before and became curious as he was leading out the townspeople. He did just as his parents did when they were small souls. Before the battle began, everyone looked around and noticed Ariel's wings was bigger than all of theirs and how powerful she had become.
Congratulations, Ariel. I see you.
Bigger wings look good on you, girl.
I knew it. Congratulations, Ariel. I knew you would get your bigger wings.
Everyone noticed her powers had increased, and now they all know why. When Ariel looked to her right, she saw Chloe, another classmate of theirs from the Sacred Land of Harts, that stayed behind to get her wings, and she got them. Though they weren't as big as Ariel's, she received them. All of the invisible cages were in place, and everyone had swords that were blessed with power to suck up any dark forces. Lilith and Lucifer finally showed up, but still in a way of an illusion. They knew that this battle wasn't going to be easy. They too noticed that Ariel has bigger wings, a big accomplishment for an angel. The fighting had begun, and they all remembered their old life as if it never left them, and it didn't. As the fight began, Black Stag, also known as Star, flew in and joined the fight. Ariel replied, It's good to see you, old friend. I didn't think I would still have access to you after I received my wings, Black Stag replied.
You were the last one. Everyone else went out on assignments. So I will be with you always, old friend.
Let's show them how it's done.
I'll follow your lead.
They looked at each other and nodded and continued to fight. Lucifer and Lilith continued with the illusion. And every dark force went into the swords so that they could all be released in the underworld jail. Ariel fought with the Dark Angel and sucked him into her sword. Lucifer noticed Aries watching in the background and called out to Saint Germaine and Ariel.
I have your offspring, and now I'll have my revenge.
He took a sword to Aries and took his life. Ariel was in such a rage, she finished that battle with the invisible cages and locked them both in it. They didn't see it coming. Ariel and Saint Germaine wept for their son and returned to their human form. Officers of the court escorted Lucifer and Lilith back to the underworld. They won the battle, but they lost the war when they lost their son. The victory against Lucifer and Lilith was short-lived for the Star family. Aries, in the end, became the hero because he was bait to draw out the enemy, but it wasn't their first option. It most definitely was the last option. The whole land of Taroc was grieving the loss of a great leader, loving husband, and devoted son to his parents. All the planning to protect everyone and the leader gets killed. It caused a lot of citizens to lose hope. Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley asked,
Live your lives as if Aries is still with us.
Don't give up hope. That is what he would want us all to do. Lord Germaine asked that the Land of Taroc give them time to grieve, and together they will rebuild the land again to what it once was. Everyone agreed. Archangel Michael returned to check on the family and to give them an update on Lucifer and Lilith.
They will be charged for their crimes, and they will serve in the underworld for all of eternity.
Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine both felt their son's death was avenged in spiritual court, but nothing can replace the loss of a child. They couldn't help but think that somehow Lucifer and Lilith won't do time for their crime.